All right. So we are live right now on Facebook on the Study in the USA page. How is everyone today?
Good.
We're doing fine.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's 9 o'clock here in Minnesota. So I know at least it's not super early, but Ashrit is joining us from India. Good in India, Ashrit.
It's 7:30, so it's better than 9 a.m. So
Yeah.
Across continents.
Yeah. Great. Well, we're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. We'll be talking about memes around COVID and how they are versus reality. And our great students will be talking about that as well. So we'll have them introduce themselves in a minute. I just want to say now, and I'll bring this up again later, that if you have questions, we will address those questions at the end of our panel that we do. So the panel will be about 30 minutes, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Yeah, so at this point, we can maybe get started. And for all of us on the panel, maybe when we're not talking, we can mute our microphones. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. So, cool. So again, welcome. This is Mimi, how do you say it? I don't know. Versus reality, student life during COVID. So during this time, I know that we all see these funny memes online, and when you're thinking about studying in the US, you may not know how much truth is behind these memes. So we're going to talk about that today. So we hope it'll be somewhat entertaining. But again, feel free to ask questions and we'll definitely address them at the end. So I think the first one, Rose sent this to me, is I'm a head out. And then in the bottom, he says, oh yeah, I can't. So, you know, for that reason, we're all meeting virtually today because we're all stuck at home still. But I'll be the host today of the panel. My name is Alyssa. I am the Assistant Director for Strategic Communication and Recruitment at Minnesota State University, Mankato. We are a medium-sized public institution in Minnesota. We're a really great affordable option that offers over 130 different programs for bachelor's degrees. We have an intensive English program, and we have over 80 master's programs. So if you're looking for someone or somewhere great and welcoming with all 4 seasons to come study at, we're a great place. But yeah, I wanted to introduce myself with this meme that I actually stole from Rose as well. But it's when you find out your normal daily lifestyle is called quarantine. You know, it's that little bear giving side eye. So I'm definitely a home person. I love being at home. So quarantine isn't all that bad for me, but I do miss seeing everyone's faces. All right, Rose, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Rosalind Kamara, and I am from the Gambia. It's located in West Africa. I am majoring in medical lab sciences, and I'll be a junior this coming fall 2020. All I would love to say is I miss home sometimes, but I'm in a really diverse and supportive environment here in MSU, and I could have it no other way. Times that I'm free, what do I love doing? I love reading a lot. I love exploring Mankato. I think I've been to so many places, even though it's really small town, but it's amazing. I'm also actively involved on campus. I am an international enrollment assistant for the Kearney Center, our international office. I'm a Maverick Global Ambassador, and I'm also a learning community coordinator here at MSU. Welcome aboard, everyone, and I hope you enjoy our session. I chose this meme because I feel like it really represents who I am. I'm an ambivert. Um, I fit in both environments, I can say. Sometimes I want to go out, and when I go out, I want to go back home. That's me. I love meeting new people, but I rather have friends around me that I know. So it's sometimes, so when quarantine came into play, it was like, okay, at first I could deal with it because gives me a chance to stay at home. But then as time went by, it was like, was driving me crazy. I need to go out. I need to go out. So you could see the confusion there. SpongeBob was like in between relaxing and I'm going crazy because I can't stand this anymore. So basically, that's me right there. All right, we can go on to,
Right.
is it Ashley or Barbara? Barbara.
Thank you, Rose.
Of course.
Rose is a superstar, as are all of our students. So you'll see as we go on. All right, Barbara, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Barbara Owini. I'm from Kenya and majoring in nursing. I work at the Kearney Center too as an international enrollment assistant. I also work with the Friendship Family Program, which basically I just help pair you with a family if you need to settle down and just kind of cope with the culture shock and all that. We're always here, we're always ready to help, and we're always open. So what I like doing, I like staying in the house. I really like staying in the house. So I also like the meme, like when I saw it before I get to my own meme. So quarantine for me has been like a great experience in terms of reflection and just self-growth. So I kind of enjoyed quarantine. And the reason why I chose the meme that I have is because I feel like, okay, I know personally, I didn't know about Zoom until we moved online. So the first time we had to take classes, and even when we had meetings going on, I'd struggle to find like where the meeting is going on and how to get out of the meeting. So I'd just be left there with like the professor, like staring at each other, like, yeah. So he'll be like, do you have a question? I'm like, oh no, I'm just trying to leave. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, that's why I chose that meme. Like, I feel like everybody's transitioning in different ways, but we can all make fun of the situations. There are things we'll remember in 2021. Fingers crossed. So yeah, thank you for joining us. We hope we're gonna have a good experience and that you will join us here too, so we can also share our experiences together. To Ashrit.
Awesome. Thank you, Barbara. And yeah, that brings up a great point. We do have a friendship family program here at Minnesota State Mankato. So if you're interested in being able to find locals to get to know, that might be something you ask the university that you're looking at if they also have. But now, last but definitely not least, Ashrit.
Hey guys, so I'm Ashrit Suresh. I'm from India and I'm doing my core bachelor course in Minnesota State University. So right now I'll be hitting my junior year 2 in fall 2020 and I'm just absorbing everything that I can get. So one of the main things what I usually say to the new students is that it's kind of tough to come into a university from a country to a whole new different country with whole different culture, but it's one of the best experiences one can ever get. And memes is one of the best ways we can communicate, especially with students of our generation, because come on, who is not on Instagram, who is not on Snapchat, but everything's just communication through memes. And I personally chose this particular meme because I would consider myself to be an introvert and not exactly an extrovert. So for me, talking through text, talking in calls are the ones which I prefer doing rather than communicating directly with some person. So this one would exactly tell me, it's so tough to communicate personally too. So sending memes just basically helps communication get better and much more interesting and fun. And that's something that everyone should use, and I think it's the most relatable process. And I welcome all of you to the university, and I really hope and really wish to see all of you in the university, even though I'm personally not there in Mankato right now. I really want to go back there too, and I'm missing Mankato, but it's always the best thing to do to just go there, stay. You have your own peace, you have your own place to stay, and it's a really good experience that everyone should really experience in their whole life.
Great. Thank you, Ashrit. And we definitely miss you since you're so far away right now. But thankfully, we have technology now, so you
Yeah,
can
that's
still
true.
join us.
Yes.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with our panel now. So again, if you have any questions or comments, be sure just pop them down below in the comments and we will address them after the student panel. We'll have 5 topics that we talk about today, and each student will give their experience briefly. So if you want to hear more from them, just let us know. And if there's a specific student you want to know about, just put that in your comment that you have below. So the first meme that we're going to address is what it's like for the stay-at-home quarantine and what it's like specifically in the US. So in the US, you've probably heard about these crazy things that we've done, like hoard toilet paper, gain a lot of weight. Some people go into like a health frenzy. Mona Lisa here, you can tell, has gone through 9 different stages. But yeah, so we're going to talk about what it's actually like for our students being at the stay-at-home or quarantine here in the US, and we'll go in that same order. So we'll go Rose, Barbara, and then Ashrit.
Okay, when the order came to stay at home because of COVID-19, I was thrown into a state of shock. I think like everyone else, it was like, oh, this is really happening. I had to cancel a vacation to Cancun, which was really bad. So I just threw myself into a lot of work at the time, working for the Kearney Center. And for me, I didn't hoard any toilet paper because it was like, okay, I'll be fine. At some point, we're gonna go out. So it was such a shock seeing so many Americans, and as an international student, I could not relate at all. So what I just said was stock on groceries as much as possible because I love food and I don't want to go hungry. That's not me. Just stay home. Everyone stayed home. The whole US, I guess. It's like when you go out, the streets were empty. Nobody was there. Everybody was heeding the order and stuff like that. And then I was trying to finish spring semester, which was quite a transition for me, going from in-person classes to online. It was professors were uncertain, students were uncertain, everybody was just like, okay, is this the wall ending? And things like that. So I basically went through my different stages. Like I said, at first I enjoyed it. I don't want to go out. And I just stayed home, lazy, waking up for work in bed. As soon as it's time, you just put your laptop and start doing your work. And then when you want to go out, you have to wear masks. That kind of became, it took time for me to adjust to that new normal of having to step out with a mask and gloves, but then we had to do it. And at some point I went crazy. I had to cut my hair off because I got tired of taking care of it at home. So I recently had this.
But now she looks like a supermodel, so it's totally good.
I try. I think I try, but I had to go through these different stages, and it's such a growth, I can say, like Barbara said. And quarantine has not been so bad, but I wish COVID-19 was not around, to be honest, because it's so many changes and so many uncertainty in just it's just like months, not even a year. So yeah. And I gained quarantine 15. I gained so much weight. It was like a lot of food, and
Just
I'm
for the 11, Rose, don't worry.
well, I hope I'll lose some. I'll just work it out, and just lose some, but it is what it is. So those were just my stages with all the stay-at-home orders that we had.
Great, thanks, Rose. Barbara, would you like to share your experience?
Yeah, so for me, when the pandemic started, like the transition was hard, but the school did help out because initially we do have an app we set up for the school where kind of the whole school is connected that kind of reminds you of things like to check your emails and stuff. And I knew every other Thursday there's a food drive, so usually go somewhere to get free food. I'm a fan of free food. Like I just love knowing there's free food. So the drive was something, helpful. And the school was also offering grants that people could apply for, which I feel like was really helpful. I know a lot of people who benefited from it. So like just was it yesterday? Yesterday I received a mask from the school on my mail with the instructions for next semester. Like so I got 2 free masks. They're really cute. I wish I had them here. But yeah, so Maverick marks, they're really nice masks. So like generally I feel like the school was really supportive during this pandemic, and even after everything happened and like we weren't sure about what was going to happen for fall semester, especially after everything that happened with the whole online classes and international students. The school was always communicating to us, reminding us not to just take every information that we see on the media. We should wait for them to talk to us first. And I feel like that was very supportive, because at the time you're confused, and if the institution that brought you here doesn't say anything, you'd be more uncertain. So I feel like we did a good job. My school did a good job. So yeah.
That's good to hear, Barb. Since communication is in my title, I'm happy to hear that. All right, on to you, Ashrit.
So stay-at-home orders, it was a whole different experience, because I think when we got those orders, we just finished our spring break, and our spring break was extended for like 2 more weeks. And that was kind of exciting at first. Maybe the first month was pretty okay. But then as the time went by at stay at home, I mean, it just started eating my head, like just staying at home, doing nothing. But there came a point where I was working, so I didn't get that bored, but I'm just imagining how bad people would have felt staying at home all the time. They're just not doing anything, just watching Netflix, playing games, all of that the whole time. But in general, considering the stay-at-home orders, it was completely different for me. Especially transitioning to online classes was a whole different experience too. And when it came to the communication from the university, there were times when we were confused too, if we were going to have our next semester going to be online, if first semester is going to be completely online, but then our university made sure that we had all our information. The International Center helped us get enough information so that none of the students are getting confused at the same point. And the first thing that during the whole quarantine that came to my mind was, okay, can I go back home now? I mean, right now I'm home, and it was a whole different experience. But the first thought that came to my mind was if I could go back home, stay with my family. And that didn't happen for quite some time. I had to stay in the United States for close to 2 to 3 months after the quarantine started, the stay-at-home order started. But eventually, yes, I got to come back home. Now I'm at home, but now that I'm back home, I miss US, and I miss staying there for some time. I miss the freedom. But stay-at-home orders was completely different and something very weird, I would say.
All right, thanks, Ashrit, and thanks all 3 of you for sharing your experience. So yeah, that was our first meme. Moving on to our second one. They kind of alluded to this a little bit, but we're going to talk we'll go into it a little bit more. So the second meme versus reality is this great thing that's been going around. You've probably seen it, but it says, ladies, if he's, and then it goes on to say, mysterious, vague, got you and your girls trying to decode messages and always keeping you guessing which way he'll go. That's not your man. That's your university's fall 2020 reopening plan. So I think we all feel this way sometimes as a staff member. I feel that students think I know everything that's going on at my university, but honestly, a lot of the time I just know as much as you do, because our administration and those above are trying to figure it out. But I want to hear how the students feel about it. And this time I think we'll switch it up. We'll just go to the next person. So Barbara, you'll go first, Ashrit, and then Rose.
Okay, about the meme, like for the fall plans, like that was a flip, because I didn't know about it. I got calls from back home to find out about it. So you can imagine, you just get calls like, oh, so you're coming back? And you're like, what's going on? Like, oh, you didn't hear what happened. Your president wants you out. Like, okay. Like, oh, I didn't know about that. So, you get on social media and then there's a whole blow up, and then you're like waiting. I'm like, oh, I know the school will say something. I know the school will say something. So after waiting for a while, we did get information from the school, and working with the international enrollment assistant, you can imagine the kind of questions now you're getting too. So at that time, you also don't have information, and emails are coming in. Everybody wants to know, like, oh, what's going on fall semester? What's going to happen? Probably your friends know you work at the international office, and they also want to know what's going on. So you get calls from home, from students in school, from prospective students. So it was kind of a hectic time, but we were able to kind of get all the information out there, because once again, thank God for Zoom. Because yeah, the one app that I struggled with at first came to the rescue again. So yeah, for me, I feel like we did a good job communicating so far. And just the fact that we do use the email a lot, and we're already used to checking our emails a lot because all our professors talk to us through email. So I feel like we're able to communicate that pretty fast.
Thanks, Barb. Ashrit?
So let me go in the order of the meme here. It was completely mysterious because, we are all sitting at home with nothing to do, with all the time to think. But there was no response from the university when it came to that. But then eventually there came a point where the university responded saying the next semester is going to be online, it's going to be hybrid. And that's where we were confused, because we thought that, okay, are we supposed to go back to the university at this point of time? But then there was also this rule which was put out by ICE, which said all international students who had university made online had to return back home. And when you looked at it from that point of view, it seemed like, okay, maybe whatever university did was good. Like, by keeping up that hybrid status, we could stay back in the country and we could actually study. And at that point, it was pretty vague, because we wanted the exact information as to how the classes are going to be, are we supposed to go to classes? Can we register for all the classes that we really want? Is our graduation going to take some time? And all those questions. So it was pretty vague at that point too. Well, I'm not going to talk about the other ones because I won't really understand what that is, being a guy over here. So the plan for reopening our university, since they made it hybrid, it cleared out a lot of air between the students. And also, being a part of the International Center, I was receiving a lot of questions saying, when is the university opening? Can you ask people? Can you ask everybody who will give us an answer? It was a tough time to keep up with at that point. But then everyone, we got our answers really quick, and we finally got through with the final stage. And here we are with the final decision. So
So yeah, low key in my heart, I was wishing COVID-19 would be done and out by the time fall 2020 came around, because finishing spring semester online was something else. It was out of the world. Even though the university was very, very, very supportive in some ways, um, it was such a transition for me. I'm not really an online person, and it was hard trying to stay focused and motivated and things like that. So I was like, okay, so what's happening fall 2020? What's the plan? And then the university at first felt uncertain about what to do, because obviously we were all thrown into this chaos that we don't know how we're going to get out of. Um, so they sent out surveys through emails. I love the fact that, email communication is really important. They sent out surveys about how students felt about spring, to able to help us better with fall 2020. So it was about, how do you feel about this class? It was like, I had to fill the questionnaire for like 15 minutes, put out my hat there and say, as much as like I don't like online class, it's not safe really to go in person and things like that. So I felt that they compiled all those and started reaching out in June, July about what they feel fall 2020 was going to be like. So return to fall plan came into place and hybrid was suggested, which was really good, because when that announcement was made on July 6th about if your school is fully online, you have to go back, I was like, okay, is MSU fully online? And it wasn't, thankfully, but at the same time, it was like people were asking me, are you gonna get deported? Are you coming back? I'm like, I don't think so, but this is so scary and stuff like that. So the school really kept us informed about how fall 2020 was going to happen later on, after finding out feedback from both the domestic side and international. And I really appreciated that, because it helped me prepare better and also tell my family back home not to panic, that things were going to work out fine. So they really kept us guessing, kept us guessing at first, but then later on, we were sure that, okay, this is what's going to happen with classes and things like that. So yeah.
All right, thank you all for talking about that. So again, if you're watching and you have questions or want to hear more, just put them on down there in the comment section. We're going to go on to the third one, and they started to talk a little bit about this, but we'll talk more specifically. So what's it like to learn online or in hybrid classes, especially when you're used to a person, being a person who goes to class every day? And so this meme for any office lovers out there is, online classes are so great. And then on the bottom it says false, they are terrible. So we hope that's not the case, but we're going to find out the students' experiences now. And this time we'll start with Ashrit, and then we'll go Rose and Barbara.
So coming from classes, coming from the point of going to classes in person, then moving to online classes was completely different. Usually I prefer having the one-on-one attention in class and where they explain physically as to how everything's happening. But the moment it was made online, it was a bit complicated for me because I was not able to keep up. I was not able to understand as to what's happening in classes. And most importantly, I was getting lazy. Like, usually we are supposed to wake up, we're supposed to go to class and then all of that. But then now that it's online classes, my class was at 8 a.m. I used to wake up at 8 a.m., just switch on the Zoom and then sit and try to understand what the professor is trying to say. If there are any questions, we were supposed to type it in, and we were not getting the exact one-to-one connection that there. I found it a little bit difficult. I found it a little bit tough to begin with, but as the semester went on, I kind of got used to it. I started using online material. I started using the online exams were pretty easy, and online exams especially were pretty easy and pretty tough at the same time because it's online. So we have access to our books with us and everything, so we can do the exam with the help of our books and all of that. But it was not the same as studying and preparing as the offline exam. It was not the same interest, it was not the same difficulty as it was. I would say that online classes, the amount of information that we take in is much lesser because we're pretty lazy at doing the, as we're getting more freedom as we're doing online classes. But also it's a great experience, and online classes is something that I would not exactly prefer over in-person classes, but now I'm looking forward to it as well, as now that it's a good thing as I'm back home and I'm still able to study there, and that's a really good option.
For me, I think the hardest part about the online and distance learning was staying motivated, and probably I hope it's not gonna happen for fall 2020, but was definitely staying motivated. Imagine you set your bar high to have straight A's first semester, and then that happens, and you're trying to keep up, like Asher said, with classes, trying to attend 8 a.m.s in your bed. It was difficult, to be honest. But then later on, it's like, you have to do this. I take online classes every semester, but usually gen eds and things like that. So partly that was able to help me out. But then I'm taking labs and labs online. It's like you're literally learning nothing because it's not hands-on experience. And we really need those hands-on experiences and things like that. So it was kind of difficult, but I love the fact that professors are really supportive. They try their best. You send emails, they reply. I love communicating through emails if I'm not unsure about anything. It's like, can you help me out with this? And they reach out to you. So I love the fact that they were able to communicate with us, even though it's not in person, to help us succeed. Others didn't really care. Maybe they were feeling the same way we students were feeling about COVID-19. But as for encouragement, I got it. It was just personally for me, motivation was lacking. But I hope fall 2020, I'm able to prepare my mindset better for me to be able to learn, because I'm taking several labs. And even though they're going to be in person, we're going to be social distancing, wearing masks and all of that. It's going to be very weird, but I'm grateful that I'm not doing labs online and in person. So yeah.
Well, for me, the transition was hard. Like, it's something new. Usually, online classes, you take like one or two in a semester, and that's it. You have a chance to stay disciplined. So kind of when we moved online, it was a huge transition, and I feel like it's something that everybody kind of had to take time to adjust into, because at the beginning it's kind of confusing. Sometimes you miss an email that was important, or you miss a Zoom, or you forget to do an assignment, or exams are clashing because they're all at the same time or on the same day, and probably they close early. You don't have enough time to kind of prepare. So I feel like just for that semester it was a huge transition. And with this time like we've had, I feel like we've kind of been able to incorporate a lot of the apps and most of these things we'll be working with. So I'm glad we actually had that summertime to kind of adjust and kind of figure yourself out. So I feel like fall semester should be a bit easier, just because now we have an experience of what online classes were like. So for me, I'm kind of hopeful that it will go better than last semester.
Thank you for sharing those experiences. I know online, that adjustment was really hard for a lot of people. If you have any questions, our office email is actually in the description, and all three of these students have access to that email. So if you want to ask them more personally, like what it was like in that transition, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, again, feel free to comment right below. But we're going to go on to the fourth topic, which even I have had internet issues in my own home. Like we've had the power go out because of storms or a lot of people on the internet. And so sometimes there are internet issues. Other times it's great, but I want to hear from the students what they've gone through, because I know that they all have different providers than I do. So we'll go back to Rose and then Barbara and Ashrit.
Okay, I would say I have the worst internet in Mankato, worst internet provider in Mankato. And it looks like as soon as COVID-19 hit, they also got COVID because they just went from worst to worster, if that's a word. So imagine having to get up and then you're talking on Zoom and your voice is coming one minute late. It's like, did you hear me? No, can you really hear me? Yeah, that was my internet. So it was such a struggle. I was like, how can I deal with this? I'm doing online classes. So how do I cope? But then later I kept on making calls and saying, I pay for the internet. I know we're in a bad situation, but I'm really trying to have classes. And the worst fact is I had 4 other roommates and everybody's trying to do classes. Everybody's just on the internet. So it was crazy. I don't know. At that specific time, we really needed good internet, but then sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. You just have to deal with it, but get through. So that's why I try as much as possible not to procrastinate with my assignments, just to get them done in time. When you know that if the internet is faulty at some point, you've gotten work done and you feel at ease. But imagine you put it up to last minute and then the internet says, well, I didn't ask you. Yeah, that's bad. So internet was kind of not okay. I feel like everyone was at home, so it was congested and things like that. Even to this later point, I don't know what happened, whether it was the climate, the weather and stuff like that interfering, but it was kind of a struggle.
Yeah, I second Rose on that. Like, internet sucked. And then I don't know why, for some reason, like the wait times when you're calling your provider got longer. It's like it's like they just put you on hold. Like, okay, we understand you're not the only one, so just put you on the pile of other people waiting. So you'll just sit there and wait. So now you can imagine you probably have to get into a meeting, and the first 20 minutes are introduction of, can you hear me? Hey, hey. Hey, can you hear me? I feel like it was, honestly, it was crazy, but honestly, there's no but. It sucked. Because internet, you can imagine, like, especially in America, you guys, like, things are usually fast. So for that, you kind of get used to that. So when you don't have that, you kind of tend to get angry now, saying like, why? Who's supposed to do this? So, you keep calling and keep calling, because that's what I kept doing until eventually I kept going to the store and waiting for the time they'll open. Like, I'd find the notice, take a picture for the new number, call again, wait for the time they said they're opening, I'll go back and threaten to change my provider. But yeah, I guess the tussle, like, we're learning how to be adults. So yeah.
Okay, so here I personally feel there's two ways to look at internet issues. As a student, there's a good way and then there's a bad way. I'd say the bad way is that we were not able to pay attention towards the classes. We were not able to, there was a time where I could not submit my assignments on time, and that actually messed up my whole grade because of, no internet. And the good way to look at it is sometimes when we were in a Zoom class, we would just, say something's wrong with our internet when there's no internet issues. And it makes it much more believable. So as a student, I would say that was the good thing, because, sometimes we do tend to get lazy and avoid, we just want to miss classes and all of that. But if you look at it in a bigger picture, internet issues actually played a huge role, because I still remember it was not just coursework, Even sometimes at work, my internet just did not work. My internet just decided not to work completely. I was not able to call anybody. I was not able to, stay on the Zoom call or anything like that. And that was actually a problem, even though I was actually trying to communicate with other students. There were students from different countries waiting on me or waiting on all of us in general to just pick up the call and talk to them. And here I'm talking with the visa prep sessions. But the internet issues played a huge role in the whole COVID situation and trying to cope up with the classes. And that's something that needs to be, I think that's something that we have to get really used to because internet issues keep happening. But that's basically it because Rose and Barb, they basically covered the whole thing, what I was going to say, because whatever they said was completely true and it made sense.
Thanks. Yeah, so internet is still a big issue even when you're in the US. I know that a lot of our students who try to get in touch with us from different parts of the world experience internet issues and think that maybe we don't have those same issues here in the US. Unfortunately, we do. Our university does provide free Wi-Fi for students on campus all the time. So usually there's not much issue there. While our campus was closed, there were parking lots that had free Wi-Fi, but it's not exactly super convenient to go to a parking lot, especially when you don't have a car to use the internet. So that's definitely something to check out when you're looking at universities. I think our university did what we could, but probably could have done a little bit more. All right, so this is our last topic before we get to all of the questions. So I know I keep saying it, but put the questions down there. I've been answering a few as they've come in, but we'll definitely address more later on. A huge thing for students who come to the US is internships and the ability to think about their career outlook. And we know that there's been a huge disruption in not only the economy here in the US, but all around the world right now. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how the students are faring with that, because most of our degree programs at Minnesota State Mankato actually do require you to do an internship to use those skills in a practical environment. We also have a lot of students who are applying for OPT and looking for jobs right now. I know none of our 3 students are in that scenario, but let's hear from them what it's been like for that internship and different job search. This time, should we start with Barb and then go to Ashrit and Rose?
Okay, I think with internships, I know a lot of people like have been kind of panicking and struggling with it. Personally, I haven't been like, I'm not doing one, but I know like usually the best thing to do is kind of just reach out to your advisors, like most of the time you've been in school, you've made connections, and also you've made friends who take the same major as you, and also your advisors have met students who took the same major as you. So usually, I believe the first step is always to contact them anytime like you're struggling with something. So at least they have that information and they know that, you reached out, like it's somewhere. It's not like you just, kind of disappeared and, you didn't seek help, because it's good to use the resources you have as much as it's kind of hard right now. But I know people still have succeeded with the internships too. And they are available actually. I know I have 3 friends who have gone out for their internship this summer and they're almost done. With the same, they reached out to their advisors and their professors too, like, and friends, just to find out like what they can do, how they can go about it, just to get, kind of places where people went, people before them, what they did. So for me, that's a tip I collected for when I need to do that too.
So internships in general is tough to find, especially in my major. Uh, I need internships in order to graduate, and to see that and especially in this scenario, finding an internship is kind of tough. When I look at the in general job perspectives after my graduation, and the COVID effect's been really bad because the unemployment rate in general has increased, not just in the United States, but all over the world. So if I look at it that way and see that, okay, the point in 2 years when I graduate, I would actually need to hunt for a job really well. I need to be a top student in order to get a job. And here, I'm not just talking about the United States, I'm talking about my own country here, even in India. I have to struggle to find a really good job. But I'm really keeping a positive attitude towards it. Paying attention towards my studies right now, doing everything that I can from my end so I don't really face an issue later on. But COVID has played a really negative role when it comes to internships, career, in general, the future of anyone's career, not just mine. But also at the same time, it also drives me to study harder, make me become the person, or make it, a company could really choose, or a company that would need in order to make better. And I don't want to face the same issues that many people are going to face right now, assuming that COVID-19 is going to decrease, and then everyone gets a job and everyone's trying to apply for jobs. The competition just increases and it just gets tougher. So I suggest everyone just brace up and get ready for what's coming later on.
So before COVID-19 hit, we have the Career Development Center, which is like the best resource on campus with regards to internships and careers and stuff like that. So they were organizing fairs, career fair, and where groups of companies will come to the school and recruit students for internships and future job outlooks and stuff like that. So that was really good. And I know a couple of friends who got some internships, but then as soon as coronavirus came, they could not go in person because those people were working from home. The companies were working from home. So that was like kind of a bummer. But I know some other people who were able to bag jobs even after they graduated this May 2020. And so the Career Development Center, even though they are working remotely from home, they've still been sending emails here and there saying that if you need help with this, with your resume, with things like that, just to prepare yourself, you never know. You never know when you might want to go look out for a job if you're already a graduate and you have your OPT, or if you're looking for an internship. I think that, like Barbara said, talk to your advisor, email the CDC, the Career Development Center, for help with that, and don't just say, oh, it's COVID, everybody's working from, where am I going to get a job, and things like that. My internship year, it's my senior year and I'm in my junior year, so I don't necessarily need it. But if I did, I'm sure I would have gotten something even amongst all this chaos. So as much as it seems really bleak that internships and career is like taking a downfall or everything like that, when you reach out to the right connections, right places, you end up getting what you're looking for. Hopefully, it's not really all that rosy, but reaching out to people will help you out. So that's my take on internship and career outlook.
Thank you. I know it's a stressful topic for many students, whether at Minnesota State Mankato or beyond. So I thought we would talk about that. I will say, at our university, it's really nice. We have a lot of alumni who are in really good companies that hire from our university. And especially for our international students, we try to help them find those connections. We do have a lot of firms in Minnesota that are, computer science related or engineering, nursing. The medical field is really big here in Minnesota. So if those are areas that you're thinking about studying, we'd be a great place to check out. But yeah, and I didn't explain this meme in case anyone cannot see, you know, in the background, there's a house on fire that says my college and career. And in the front, there's this little girl with a very evil, should I say evil? Yeah, evil look on her face. And that says COVID-19. So we're here to help out students. We hope that's not the case, but yeah. Well, with that, you know, that's the end of what we have prepared. I know we do have one question here that we'll address in a minute. If you have other questions, though, feel free to put it down. We do have, you know, we'll be here for another 15 minutes if there are questions. But this meme again. So yesterday when I was preparing this PowerPoint, I texted Rose and I said, hey, send me some memes. I need help with this. And I thought this one was amazing. I wish I could do this for our students, but you know, it says coronavirus. If you're gonna cancel everything, cancel my bills then. Definitely wish we could help out with that. Our university did have an emergency grant for students though, so we luckily were able to help out some students with their bills. But yeah, even me, I wish I could get rid of some of those bills. All right, I'm actually going to end this screen share and then I'm going to have our students address the comments that we've gotten. So the first question that we've already gotten from a student is, or from someone, if you're not a student, sorry, but is there opportunities for international students? And maybe at this point, the three of you could address things like scholarships and other opportunities that you know students are looking for. So I'm gonna let you just kind of fend for it. Whoever goes first can talk.
I'll go first. So our university basically provides the international student scholarship, which decreases the tuition fee by close to 30% as soon as you're enrolled into a university. And that particular scholarship is really helpful because for students, like especially students like me, who is taking student loans, we need to decrease our fee as much, and that really helps students. In general, looking at the conversion price from my currency to the dollar conversion, these scholarships do really help a lot. So eventually, once as you get into your college career, like after 1 year, you have access to other additional scholarships that you could use. By you can also decrease your tuition fee much further and not just keep it at the 30%. So that's because I think it's gonna, as far as scholarship is concerned, I feel that's the thing that I have in my mind. So
I can go next. So with regards to scholarship, like Ashwin mentioned, we have the International Maverick Scholarship, and it covers like 30% with $5,000 in savings. Additional to that, every February is the month of scholarships here at MSU. So you have the chance to apply for numerous scholarships that we have, like over $2 million in scholarships. And I was a recipient of 2 scholarships during the spring semester, and one is applying to the fall. And I'm going to save a lot of money, one with regards to my major, because schooling is expensive here as an international student. So when you come, make those connections, be determined, be hardworking and stuff like that, and you can really, really succeed. With regards to other opportunities, let's say for jobs, for example, students usually ask, are there on-campus jobs? I can say there are on-campus jobs, they're just limited and really competitive. So you have to be that determined. Students, at some point, I was trying to balance 3 on-campus jobs at once, but I had to leave one of them because it was going way above the hours that we are supposed to work as international students. So you can be like me also and get 1, 2, 3, even 4 jobs, but you know, those hours will be limited. And in terms of campus involvement, I can say there are a lot of opportunities for you to grow because you need that experience as a college student for you to be able to progress in your career. I've had the opportunity of getting involved in a lot of leadership places, a lot of leadership roles, just so you know, I could get that full college experience even as an international student, because it's not all about putting yourself, be like, oh, I want to focus on my GPA. No, get involved, ask people, make meaningful connections, network. In that way, you will see all these opportunities presenting before yourself. I came here as a really naive, really naive student, not really good with public speaking and things like that. And getting involved on, getting involved basically on campus has helped me grow in different areas. And I'm really, really grateful. So if you're asking about opportunities, we have different in terms of scholarships, on campus jobs, and, personal growth with campus involvement, basically. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Ashrid and Rose addressed most of our scholarships and opportunities. So all I could add is make sure you reach out to your advisors to learn about your program, CPT. Those are also options. Make sure you just always reach out to them, learn about what opportunities are offered within your program, because sometimes you're lucky enough to do a CPT that pays you. So it's just more about who you reach out to, who you talk to, because you can be here for all that time and you did not ask. So you may never know that you had that opportunity, and then you learn about it after you graduate. And that's sad, because now CPT is gone, because that's something you do only when you're taking new classes. After that, you only have your OPT. So just make use of your resources.
Great point, Barbara. So yeah, I was talking earlier about how most of our degree programs at Minnesota State require an internship, which means that you would qualify for CPT or curricular practical training. And many of our students find paid opportunities, so I know that's really good for them. Also for our students in the STEM areas, which two of our students here actually are. Barbara's a nursing major. I don't know why that's not STEM, but that's not something that we get to determine. It's from the government. But some STEM students will receive up to 3 years of optional practical training, or OPT, after their degree, and other students get 1. So that's really good opportunities to think about. I also just wanted to mention, I'm sure you've realized throughout this presentation that the 3 students who are here, Rosalind, Asha, and Barbara, they're superstars. They're amazing students. We love them. But their experiences are not necessarily out of the ordinary here at Minnesota State. I feel that many of our students really find their area and find leadership roles, things to do that give them that step above other students if they want to. We have over 200 different organizations that you can get involved in. Our office, the Kearney Center for International Student Services, is really connected to our students. We have over 1,300 international students on campus. I would say, quite honestly, if I saw someone on the street, I could probably give you their names, almost 1,000 of them, because we do see our students quite a bit. We don't have any other questions, but one thing I know our students are always wondering about, talking about staff and the connection to students, is could the 3 of you talk a little bit about your experience with our staff members and how supported you feel, and then also with faculty, and if you feel supported from those people as well. Maybe Barbara, if you would want to start.
Sure. Yeah, so that literally just takes me. Well, yeah, I was saying, yeah, literally that one just takes me back to reaching out. You see, just as I mentioned before, you have to reach out to the people. For me, I have received a lot of help because I always reach out to people. Like for the program, like I do, you know, there's a nursing program. You are assigned an advisor, academic advisor, and an immigration advisor. So if you have any issues to do with immigration, like maybe you want to do your PT, or you want to, like, anything you want to get into that's involved with maybe work, even school, like just things you're struggling with, you can reach out to your immigration advisor. And then academically, maybe you want to plan your classes and stuff like that. Now you can reach out to your academic advisor. And I don't know why most people don't do this, but your academic advisor is usually on your e-services, but that's something you will learn when you apply. And so they're always there for you, and they're easily accessible. So usually you just have to send them an email and they get back to you like as soon as they can, because also you have to cultivate a little bit of patience and remember that you're not the only student that they're handling. You can imagine how many students we are, and you want to rush the process. So it's just a matter of patience and respect. So if you're respectful and you just, you know, come up with a right way to address your issues, no matter how much they're bugging you, I feel like the reciprocation you're gonna get will be better than, you know, kind of coming off rude or differently, you know, because that's how you form these connections, because later on you're going to need these people, and they'll remember how you know, brought yourself out in the beginning.
Yeah. So when it comes to faculty, they are extremely friendly and they really want to help. So I work in the Kearney Center for the international students, and I've seen our own organization help everybody, our own group help so many students. And when I consider the faculty over here, I feel our professors, they're always ready to help. They expect questions, they expect interactions. So the more the interaction, the more you understand, the better you understand the concept and all of that. And compared to our immigration advisors, they're always there to help us. If I'm having any issues with my visas, they're always there to help. If I'm having any issues with anything in general that we would face as international students, they're always ready to help. And we also have our academic advisors who basically help us choose our classes. So your as you get into your new semester, we have to choose our classes subsequently close to 2 to 3 months before the new semester starts, so we can register for the classes and be ready for what comes for the next semester. And our academic advisors are usually very helpful that way. So all you have to do is set up a meeting with them, send them an email, they respond. Even though there's so many students under their name or under their wing, they're always ready to help and they reply as soon as they can. So whenever we get an appointment, all we have to do is just go talk to them. So they'll help us, and they'll help us choose our classes, especially being a part of the STEM major, being a part of the computer engineer. I have a lot of strict classes. I have very few genets to choose from. And these are the parts where academic advisors mainly come in, and they help you choose the classes that are extremely necessary for your graduation and really important for your major. So because when it comes to the future job perspectives, they know it better than us, and they know what classes that we're supposed to take, and they really help us in that way. So.
All right. To go off what Barbara and Asher said, our staff, they are awesome. I can just say without them, I felt like it would have been a really bad experience for me. Elisa, that you see here, is my mentor in the international office, because she has helped me in like numerous ways. Just because I reached out to her, I connected with her, and she saw that weak girl needs to be strong. She doesn't know she's strong, but she can be. So they're awesome. They're helpful. They're supportive. They look out for you. I have had the chance of like communicating with both the domestic scene and not just the international side. And they are all great. They're always ready to help when you reach out. So do not hesitate, because that's what I feel like some international students be like, oh, I'm not American, so maybe this will not go well. But do not hesitate at all to reach out with concerns that you have, because they will be out there for you. They know that you need a help as a, as an international in the place. Also, faculty, my academic advisor is really awesome. I make sure I set up a meeting with her every semester for me to see how I'm progressing with my major. So that's your number one person to reach out to when you have concerns with how your majors go, how your classes are going, or what next, you should do next. So before the semester starts, I reach out to her, what classes should I take? Is this going well? Is this going fine? And she tells me what to do, what professors to reach out to. Even higher faculty members and stuff like that. What's the worst thing that can happen? They're not going to kill you. Talk to them if you have problems. Professors are always willing to listen. I've had a couple of professors that have just been there hand in hand with me to get my A's and, in classes and things like that. So when you have problems, like I said, always reach out to people. It always goes a long way to help you in college. Thanks.
Great. Thanks all again for sharing your experiences. I'm just looking at the comments. It looks like we've addressed all of the questions. I just want to thank everyone who tuned in. Again, we have 3 superstars here with us, Rose, Barb, and Ashrit. They're amazing. Come join us, be one of these amazing students who gets to do one of these panels in the future. If you're interested in learning more about our university, visit us at mankato.mnsu.edu. Otherwise, you can find us on Facebook. We've been commenting below, so you can go and click on that. We have a lot of cool stuff on Instagram that shows what campus is like and who our staff are, different things like that. We also have free virtual advising. So if you just kind of want to get a feel for what it's like here at Minnesota State or what it's like to study in the US, we do have free virtual advising that you can sign up for. We have that available in English, French, and Spanish now. Do any of you have any last words to share?
Yes, I'll go first. So I feel everyone needs to come. Everyone might be confused initially as to, okay, am I taking the right decision of leaving home and coming there? I feel it's one of the best decisions you could take. You grow a lot as a person. You understand how the world really works. And most importantly, we're all really, really looking forward to meeting you here. So please do come here, and you're always welcome.
I can go next. If you're hesitant about coming to MSU, please don't be. This is the right choice for you, I can say. Free application fee, you don't say. Where do you get that? Yes, all our application fees are being waived for undergraduates, and for masters, all you need to pay it's just $40, and you can make it here. Our scholarships are numerous, and you can apply and get any of those if you feel like, oh, it's a lot financially. But I feel like MSU is just one of those affordable universities that is just affordable, too affordable. And it's located in a friendly environment. It's student friendly, and we have like literally no crime rates out here. With security level, that's really, really guaranteed. In my 2 years of being here, I've not really had any, issues with that. So if you feel like you need that place where you have a full-blown college experience, I think MSU Mankato is the place for you. So don't hesitate and start up that application as soon as possible. And even during COVID-19, we have been supported as much as possible by university. So you also like to experience that. So thank you. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys, and see you next time.
Well, I always go off topic, so I'm gonna branch a little bit and just say, be a decent person. Like when you're reaching out to people, even on email, your first impression, how you speak to people will actually sit with them. So every time you're reaching out to people, just try and be kind and just pass on your information with respect. because I learned that through the semester, because, you know, most of my professors, I never met them because we were online. And just from how I talked to them, like even when I had missed deadlines, they were always, you know, ready to help me just because of that, just because I was a decent person. So it goes a long way, because you will need them when you're applying for anything. They're going to need you to do a recommendation. Imagine not having people you can recommend because you were rude or impatient and couldn't pass on your regards in a, let's say, decent way. So for me, that's my punchline and my standing ovation. So looking forward to seeing your email.
Thank you all, and thanks again, everyone. Whether it's morning, evening, or night where you're at, we hope you have a great day. We're gonna say goodbye now.